approaching St Cross Roundabout from the Badger's Farm, Oliver's Battery end of town. This is a spiral roundabout, so I'll put a little diagram of what a spiral roundabout looks like. The key thing with a spiral roundabout is that it has specific lanes for each exit, so we must make sure that we're in the right lane and we're not crossing lanes and we're exiting using the correct lane. This time of year the hedgerows are overgrown, so getting an early view of where we're going is difficult. But some local knowledge tells us on this one that we want to be turning right, so we're going to take the right hand lane. So that's a right hand mirror check, right hand signal, positioning the car now to the right hand lane. So we're looking to take the third exit right. Bringing the speed down, taking the appropriate gear for that speed, moving to the centre disc. Changing our right hand signal to a left hand signal and taking the exit. Okay, so we're now approaching the St Cross Roundabout, and this time we're approaching it from the Compton end, and our intention will be to go straight ahead at the roundabout, so we're heading straight into Winchester. So we're looking for any signs on approach. We can just see the roundabout now. We can see it's got 3 exits, and we're looking to take exit number 2. Looking at the road markings, and we can see we need to be positioning in lane 1 to go straight ahead, but we're not putting a signal on at this stage because that would be confusing, because it would imply we were going to take the first exit. Waiting for the gap to open, checking the left hand mirror, putting the left hand signal on, checking this car is going to stop for us, remaining in this lane, exiting. Cancelling the signal. New road, new mirrors. Be aware of the Volvo that's behind us, how close it is, and it's keeping a nice safe separation gap, so I'm comfortable with its position. We're now heading on the road into Winchester. Okay, so we're approaching St Cross Roundabout from Winchester city centre. So we're approaching out of Winchester, and our intention is to turn right towards Badger Farm. Now this is a spiral type roundabout, and I'll put a picture of what that means up on the screen now, and then we'll start taking in information and planning our correct route through this roundabout to make a right turn on this spiral roundabout. So we start taking in information from the signed route boards here, obscured by the trees, but we can see that the right hand turn is at the 3 o'clock position, so it's a right lane, right signal on approach. We're bringing the car to a stop, obviously, because our gap hasn't yet opened for us. And then when that gap does open now, we'll be moving to the centre disc of the roundabout. And then we have this white line, and as we see, we cross that, and then we can see we have 2 lanes here. Now normally we drive on the left, so we'll move out to the left hand lane, checking our left hand mirror, putting a left hand signal on before finally exiting. Checking the right hand mirror as there was a second inner lane, which we could have also legitimately taken, and we're just checking that nobody's overtaking us there. So we're now heading to Badger Farm. Okay, so we're approaching St Cross Roundabout again from Winchester direction with the intention of turning right. This is a spiral roundabout, and we'll put a picture on the screen now to show you what that looks like. And spiral roundabouts have dedicated lanes for their specific exits, so we're going to explore that. We've already done one right hand turn where we exited into the left hand lane, and this is typically what we'd look to do normally. So now looking at our approach, taking in information, we want to make a right-hand turn for the 3 o'clock exit. So right mirror, right signal. In the speed phase now, looking for our gap, and our gap is actually opened for us this time. Easy to flow on. Centre disc position. And we're going to continue to hug the centre disc this time and take lane 2, which is quite legitimate, but we must remain in lane 2 until we have left the roundabout and use this second lane. Now normally, as I say, we'd have used the left-hand lane, which even in this case was empty. The lane 2 option is for when there is heavier traffic, so for today's purposes it was just for illustration. The key thing that having taken lane 2, you remain in lane 2 and don't cross back to the left-hand side until you've cleared the roundabout and are then in the merging lanes off the roundabout. So we're now approaching St Cross roundabout from Winchester itself, so coming out of Winchester city centre, approaching St Cross, and our intention is to turn left at the roundabout out towards the park and ride. So we'll just see how we approach that now. The route boards, as you can see, are covered, as you can't see, are covered by leaves, but it's a left lane, so left mirror, left signal, left lane approach. Looking now to the right for our gap to emerge. It's not going to be a gap for us this time, so we're going to have to hold and take first gear. 3 mirror sweep just before we move the car, exiting into lane 1. Our intention at the next roundabout, as we can see here, sort of the park and ride roundabout there, is to go full circle back on ourselves. So we're checking the right hand mirror now, right shoulder, right signal, moving the car into lane 2, leaving the right hand signal on approach. We're now in the speed phase as we approach, so we're bringing the brakes in. Looking for our gap, we're going to take an appropriate gear, which is second, get the clutch back up before the giveaway line, steer to the centre disc, looking now across to the junctions we're passing, checking nobody's overshooting those before we check the left hand mirror, left hand signal, exit centrally. This time, so again we're approaching St Cross roundabout, and our intention is to effectively retrace our steps. We're going to turn right at St Cross, heading back into Winchester city centre. So on approach, we're checking centre mirror, right mirror, putting a right hand signal on and positioning the car to the right lane of the 2 lanes. We're in the speed phase, timing our approach, looking for the gap. Gap isn't opening for us at this stage. We're keeping the car rolling, taking second gear, taking a position here to the centre of the disc, right hand signal on, following this spiral line out, left mirror, left signal, checking nobody's overshooting the junction there, exiting New Road, we're checking our mirrors as we've cancelled our signal, entering the city of Winchester. Okay, so we're now approaching St Cross roundabout from Badger Farm direction, and we can just see the roundabout in the distance there. And so we're looking to take in any information from any route boards. Our intention here is to turn left, and so we're checking our centre mirror, left mirror, giving a left hand signal and positioning to the left hand lane, which as you can see is now confirmed by the road markings. This lane can either go straight ahead or left, so we're in the correct lane. Again, checking our left hand mirror, we're in the speed phase now, looking for our gap. Got our speed right down, we're taking the correct gear for that speed. Final check of the left hand mirror, looking for cyclists before completing the turn. We've now exited and we're heading towards Winchester city centre. Okay, so we're approaching St Cross roundabout from the Badger Farm, Oliver's Battery sort of end of town. And we can can just make out the roundabout in the distance there. And our intention this time is to go straight across, so straight ahead towards the park and ride. So we're looking for any signs or giving us an indication of road markings of which lane we should be choosing. This time of year the hedgerows are overgrown and covering a lot of the signs, so I'm not actually seeing anything just yet. We can just make out the floor markings. Okay, and we can now just see the route board there. So the floor markings tell us that we can approach this. It's the second exit we're looking for. We can do it in either of the two lanes. So we normally drive in the left, so we'll remain in the left-hand lane, look for our gap, and flow on without signalling at this point because there's a first exit there. Now we check our left-hand mirror, put a left-hand signal on, remain in our lane, and exit into lane 1 as we started in lane 1. I'm going to check our right hand mirror and shoulder, put a right hand signal on and move over it into lane 2, as our intention at the park and ride roundabout is actually to come back on ourselves and revisit some cross roundabouts, so we're positioning in the right hand lane on approach. We've got a right hand signal on, we're in the speed phase now, looking for our gap to open. There it is. We'll take second gear and have the clutch reapplied before we cross the giveaway line. Hugging the centre disc, just checking anyone coming from any of those other exits, because this is a slightly unusual manoeuvre we're performing. Left hand mirror, left hand signal, moving back. So we're now approaching some cross roundabout once again from the park and ride end, and our intention is to go straight ahead. So again, looking for early markings. Both lanes are actually acceptable, so we will remain in the left hand lane without a signal, because as you can see from the arrow on the floor here, there is a left-hand turn, so the left-hand signal will be inappropriate. Pausing at the giveaway for the gap, taking first gear, 3 mirror sweep. At this point we check the left-hand mirror, put a left-hand signal on, exit into lane 1. Checking nobody's on the final overtaking the right-hand mirror before bringing the speed up to the national speed limit.